Alright, I was trying to figure out what I was going to talk about today, and it took me a while, but on my way to work, I realized something I really wanted to talk about, and that's Jack Carr and his James Reece book series. Now, I don't remember, I think I discovered Jack Carr on the Joe Rogan podcast, and at the time he had his first book out. Now, first let me tell you a little background. Jack Carr is a retired Navy SEAL who has always had a love for writing and has always wanted to write thrillers for a living. And after he retired from the SEALs, he did just that. He got right into it and started writing his first novel, The Terminal List. Now, I saw him on Rogan, and he talked about this book, and I'm like, man, that sounds interesting, right? Because, I love these military political thrillers, right? I love all this stuff. I love, one of my favorite book series of all time is the Jack Reacher book series by Lee Child. And this, for me, now that I've read the first 3 books in the series, it's on par with Jack Reacher. And I know that's a tall order. That's saying a lot. And I've examined that statement, and it holds true for me. I think Jack Carr is the next Lee Child. The only reason I'm not saying that he is the new Lee Child or he is, better than Lee Child, it remains to be seen. He only has 3 novels so far in this series. But, and the Reacher series is like 26 books or something already, not counting novellas. Anyway, so after seeing him on Rogan, I dug right into The Terminal List. And I listened to all these on audiobook, so just so you know, I'm a truck driver, and I run a lot, and so these are times that I can listen to audiobooks, so that's what I do. I don't have a lot of time otherwise to sit quietly and read, or I would. So, The Terminal List. Basically, here's the story. This book series, much like Lee Child's series follows Reacher, this book series follows a character named James Reece. And James Reece, much like the author, is a retired SEAL. But what happens after that is a very different story, right? James Reece gets out of the SEALs, he retires from the Navy, and he's finally excited to go home and spend some much-needed time with his family. Being a dad, being a husband, enjoying that time with his family. And quickly that changes because his family is murdered. They're gunned down. And it turns out they are gunned down by the government, his own government. And not only that, but James Reece finds out that he has a terminal illness. He's going to be dead within months. So, grief-stricken, and knowing that he's going to die soon, he decides he's going to go on a revenge mission and take down everyone involved in killing his family. Not only his family, they also killed his teammates from his SEAL team. And the book, basically throughout the book, he unravels the whole story of why this happened, who did what, and who he needs to kill for it. Fantastic book. I absolutely loved it. It's really gruesome, so you have to have a strong stomach for it. If like people being dismembered or tortured bothers you, maybe not the book for you. But if you can handle that sort of thing, oh my God, it's so good. The action in it is so good. Because of Jack Carr's background, all the technical aspects of the book, weaponry and tactics and things like that are on point. So Terminal List, fantastic, right? So then I'm like, oh, he's got another book out, True Believer. It's a follow-up, right? It's what happens afterwards. Well, it turns out, obviously, if there's more books, it turns out that James Reece, our main character, didn't die. He didn't die, and now he's left with, one, what he's done. He's been made a fugitive, someone who's killed government officials, basically a terrorist. So now he's got to find somewhere to live out this life that he thought was over. So the first book is a revenge story. The second book is a story of, and these are Jack Carr's words describing his books. The second book is a book of redemption. And I'm not going to tell you exactly how that unfolds. I'm just going to tell you that his job wasn't completely done with handling everyone involved with his family's murder. And also, he doesn't, he needs to find something to live for now, right? And that's the book, is him discovering kind of like if he wants to live, you know, and if so, what is the purpose of that life now that he has no family and his SEAL teammates are gone and his country has forsaken him, and what's a man to do, right? So this is a story of redemption. And the third book continues even further the story of revenge, and this one focuses on the darkness of one's mind, and James Reece, coming to terms with, or coming to grips with the hunter within, the warrior within, this visceral feeling of being a hunter and what that means. And the whole book, Jack Carr describes it as the dark side of man. So it discusses some really dark aspects of the human mind and what humans are capable of. Really, I can't say enough about any three of these books. Fantastic. And now, next year, he's got a new book. He just released the name. There's a trailer for it. He does these trailers for his books, which are awesome. It's like these live-action trailers, like it's a movie coming out, right? And it's awesome. I never really seen that done with books before, and I think that's the way to go. It's a way to announce a book. But this fourth book is called The Devil's Hand, and I know it's going to be fantastic. I just know it. I can't wait till next spring when it comes out. Look, if you like these military tactics, these espionage, political thrillers, these books are for you. You have to check them out. You will not regret it. Also, The Terminal List is now, this is how good these books are, okay? People agree with me, all right? The Terminal List is being made into a series. I can't remember which streaming service, but The Terminal List is being made into a series, and this is really cool. Jack Carr, early on, he had this idea for James Reece, and in his head, he always imagined the perfect person to play James Reece would be Chris Pratt. And it was all happenstance, but it worked out in a way that Chris Pratt is going to be playing James Reece. Chris Pratt is James Reece in the new series, The Terminal List. Cannot wait for this to happen. Because you all know, as much as I love books, I'm a fanatic for television and film. So, when this happens, and I love Chris Pratt, man. How can you not? I absolutely can't wait for the Terminal List series to come out. And I hope it runs long enough. I hope it catches fire. I hope that we get to see, multiple seasons where several of these books play out rather than just the first book, I'd love to see it. And this is the type of book where you don't want it to be a 2-hour movie. You want it to be a drawn-out series. You want 10, 8 to 12 hours to really get invested in these characters and really live this story with James Reece. So, anyway, like I said, I was driving to work today, and I'm like, man, what am I going to talk about today? And, well, these books are on my mind a lot because, I enjoyed them so much, and I just finished Savage Son a couple weeks ago, and that trailer for The Devil's Hand just came out a couple days ago, and so I'm like, I'll talk about that, because I haven't talked about Jack Carr or any of these James Reece novels at all on the channel. And I've gone into other books, like Lee Child's books. I usually review those as they come out. And maybe if people want to hear it, I'll do reviews of each of these books individually. So if you're interested in that sort of thing, let me know in the comments. But otherwise, yeah. If you haven't gotten into this series, trust me, you won't regret it. Go check it out. Yeah. So that's it for today. If you enjoy this video, if you enjoy me just kind of talking about whatever I feel like talking about day to day, that's kind of what I'm doing here. I'm doing a daily video and podcast where I talk about whatever's on my mind. I recently did one on Martin Luther King Jr. Yesterday I talked about Michael Keaton returning as Batman. So you never know what I'm going to talk about day to day. So subscribe for more if you're into that sort of thing. Like the video, share it if you feel like sharing it. And thanks for watching. See you tomorrow.